Hey, what's up, everybody? This is another edition of the Fight Up TV live chat. It is May 18th, the year of our Lord 2020. I'm Marcos Villegas, and like we do every Monday, we talk about whatever you guys want to talk about fan-wise going on in the world of combat sports. Hope you guys are doing really, really well. One thing that comes to mind, Wickedy, what up? It's been a while since I've seen you. I see Korean writing, but hello. I don't know Korean. Annyeonghaseyo. I hope I said that right, but hello. But one thing that I wanted to, and I'm going to raise my mic. I don't know if you guys are able to hear me. What's up, guys? What up? What's good? What's good? This is Lives. Yeah, well, Wiki, of course I remember you, man. Arnold Cruz, what up, bro? Zorba, Akuma, what's going on? Some solution. Have you seen those creepy wannabe friends comments? Please report them. Yeah, dude, I've seen that guy commenting on everybody's videos. It's a bot. That's what it is. It's a bot that's going in saying all that stuff. History of violence. Welcome to the chat. You have entered the building. I could see that. Okay, cool. MP Ong, what's that, man? Wickedy, man. It's been a while, right? It's been a while. It's been a good year or something like that. Maybe even longer. Thank you for continuing supporting the channel, man. You're an OG. Where are you based out of, man? On our Fight Up Instagram, send me a message. I'll send you a shirt, okay? Enrique Luna, what's up, man? How's it going? Welcome to the chat. Thank you, sir. Hello to everybody. Arnold Cruz, I'll get to that question right away. Cool, man. MP Ong, thank you for that. Triple G beat Canelo twice, in my opinion. Zobra, a lot of people think that. Okay, so what I wanted to talk to you guys about at first is I did a radio hit. So I was reading a comment over here. Feed Habib. Yeah, there we go. Feed Habib knows exactly what I'm going to talk about. What up, Randy Singh? Toronto, what's up? He's going to put fights in his backyard. I don't know if you guys have seen photos of what his house and backyard looks like. Shit is crazy, dude. Guy obviously lives in a mansion. He's a really wealthy guy. But he wants to put on fights in like his backyard. And there's like this big old area that he has like already mowed. And there's like this picture floating around online of like how it would work, like where he would put the ring and like the backdrops and the interviews. And it's funny. It's like we're getting backyard boxing again. It's not the first time it's been done because a lot of people are like, what the heck? You know, how have it boxing in the backyard? I'm all for it, man. I would have thought maybe doing a fight in a warehouse or like a production studio, logistically speaking, would have been better. But hey, why not, dude? Might as well try it. Do it in your backyard. Now, I don't know how I feel about having random people come to my house, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Eddie doesn't live there anymore. It's where he grew up. It's now the Matchroom headquarters. I imagine the new place is even bigger. It could be. I don't know. I've never been over there, so I don't know. Marcos, I seen this video of you holding the heavy bag and Bob Sapp was kicking the shit out of it. Yeah, that was our first viral video. That's the first video I ever did that got 1 million hits. Did that within like 3 weeks of opening up Fight Hub. So that was a funny video. That was a funny time. I'll tell you a little bit about that. So I was doing freelance work for a MMA magazine called MMA Worldwide and Tap Out. So I just happened to be at the gym, the Body Shop in Lakewood. I went over there, said what's up to Antonio McKee, who is the owner of the Body Shop. And Javier Ramirez, welcome to the chat. I'm telling everybody a story about Bob Sapp, about that video. If you guys haven't seen it, just type in Bob Sapp Power Kicks on YouTube search and it'll come up. It was one of the first, it was actually the first viral video I ever did. So I'm there at the Body Shop, everybody's training, and Antonio was like, hey, Bob Sapp's coming right now. And I was like, what, really? He's like, yeah, Bob Sapp's coming right now. I'm like, oh shit. So I get on the phone and I call my editor for the magazine, and I'm like, dude, bring a videographer right away. Bob Sapp is coming. He's going to train over here because at that time he had a fight scheduled against Cejduo in Dream, I think, in Japan. I think the fight ended up falling out. I think Bob Sapp pulled out of the fight. I don't know what happened. He wasn't in shape. So Bob Sapp shows up an hour later, and it's obvious he doesn't want to train. And Tone is trying to like, hey, there's a camera crew here, man. Like, come on, like get it going, you know? So he starts doing the mitts with Bob. Bob's like gassed out within like a minute. It's hilarious because Antonio's like talking shit to him, making fun of him. They're going back and forth. Bob Sapp's trying to get any freaking break that he can get. And then he goes over to the heavy bag to go and kick it. So Tone was like, hey, keep hitting the bag. And Bob Sapp would buy himself time to catch a breath because like after like 3 or 4 kicks, he was like, he was dying. We did a video overall of the day that showed Antonio McKee like just getting on Bob Sapp's ass, just on him, and saying all sorts of like obscenities. We put it out and that video went viral as hell too. So I got a call like that night after we did the video. And it was Antonio McKee. And he called me. He's like, hey, Marcos. I'm like, hey, what's up, Tone? He's like, hey, man, I was watching that video that you guys put out. And, I'm a business owner. And, I say a lot of crazy shit, but in that video, I said a lot of crazy shit. And, I don't want it affecting my business. Like, I know I say crazy shit, but can you guys put the video down? And I was just like, no, fuck. So I tried to like talk him out of it. I'm like, dude, that video is hilarious. It's funny as hell. Like, it shows your personality. He's like, yeah, but look how many N-bombs I dropped in that video. I dropped like 15 N-bombs. And I was just like, shit. You got a point. So I called my editor and I'm like, yo, we got to take that Bob Sapp video down. And he's like, well, why? I'm like, Tone doesn't want it out because he dropped like 50 million M-bombs. He's scared it's going to like affect his business and people aren't going to come in. He wants to be known as like a family-friendly gym. And he had this gym called The Body Shop in Lakewood, California for many, many, many years where he trained a lot of fighters out over there. So my editor's like, fuck. So what I ended up having was that video of him hitting the bag, and that was the only thing that had left from that day. But it was just, that whole day was hilarious, man. It was impromptu. I didn't think Bob Sapp was going to show up. My camera guy showed up, and then Bob Sapp's still late for like 40 minutes, and he comes walking into the door, and I just remember looking at him, and I was just like, holy shit, this guy is freaking huge. He looks like the Hulk in person. And I also kind of like freaked out. I was like, dude, this Bob Sapp, he's here, because Bob Sapp at that time was a really big name in MMA, and he was a hard get. He was always in Japan. He hardly ever trained in the United States. So it was really, really cool to share that moment with Bob Sapp and spend a little bit of time with Bob. And yeah, it was just cool, because Bob Sapp was a big reason why I became a combat sports fan. Like his fight with Crow Cop what made me like a fan of combat sports in general and stuff. So I still kind of geek out over it when I think about it, because at that point, like Bob Sapp was like this mythical person, and like when you look at him back then, at least, I don't know how he looks now, but back then he looked like something out of a comic book. So. Yeah, Bob Sapp looked like a superhero for reals. Ricardo, we're talking about everything, bro. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Feed Habib, Bob Sapp and Mike Tyson cut the best in-ring promo in combat sports history. Sign the contract, big boy. Yeah, I remember that. Wickedy, after holding the bag and feeling Sapp's power, Marcos, how horrible did you think it would be actually get kicked in the leg by him? Let me tell you something that too. So I'm there holding the pads for him, and legit, honestly, like legit, I was really, really scared after the first one because he landed the first kick and I like flew not like flew like all the way, but he moved me. And I was worried that he was going to miss the bag and kick me or kick my wrist or my hand and end up breaking my hand. So, yeah, I was legit worried over there. Yee, what up, bro? Yee. Pelon. Who wins, Tyson or Holyfield? At this age, I'd say it's safe to say Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson looks a lot better than what Holyfield looks like right now at this stage in his career. The video that Holyfield put out, he didn't. Bob Sapp would be a safe fight for Mike Tyson. Yeah, that'd be a good one. That video that Holyfield put out, it got me thinking maybe comeback's not a good idea for Evander Holyfield, to be honest. You know, he looked his age. Holyfield's like 56 or 57 right now. And I don't think it's a good idea that he does an exhibition. Yeah, he did, Zorba. Evander looked slow. Holyfield put out was too cinematic. It was sped up. I edit videos for a living. I know when something's sped up or not. And that video, I think, was a little sped up with him on the mitts. Is Mike actually planning to return to professional boxing or just do a charity event? Exhibition. He doesn't want a pro fight. AA Magic, tell Uzi I said, what's up, man? I like Uzi a lot. Exhibition, but George Foreman said the same thing, that he wanted to do a few exhibition bouts, and then he ended up winning the world heavyweight title when he knocked out Michael Moore back in the 90s. So I don't want to say that it's not possible for Tyson to be able to compete with people in the ring right now at his age at 53, but we got to remind ourselves that he's 53 years old. And, this is not the Tyson of old, obviously. This isn't an older Tyson, and a Tyson in a body that's older. Even though he might be mentally good here, physically, your body's a whole different story. That's the main thing that fighters note when they get too old, is the mind-body connection just isn't there, that their body won't react the way it used to when they were young. They can't throw a punch. They can't land a counter the way they used to when they were younger. So we'll see what happens with that. Do I think that Mike Tyson should have a fight? It's up to him. If he has a fight, I don't want to see him go up against anybody who's in the top 5 or I don't know, maybe in the top 10. I just don't want to see him taking unwarranted damage inside the ring. You got to remember, guys, he's 53. Even though he looks like a beast in that clip, that was only a small snippet of his overall training. You got to remember that too. There's a lot you can do with editing a video. Not saying that he's not explosive and fast and like a beast. He is. That's always been his God-given gifts, is his speed and his explosiveness. But with editing, you can make yourself look a little bit better than what you really are. We haven't seen any full mid training. I would like to see that first before gauging of him actually being in a real fight against people that are top 10. Exhibition is fine. But even then, an exhibition fight with Tyson, that's true, London. BG London, that's true. Israel, that wasn't edited. Yeah, it kind of was, bro, because they're only showing certain clips. That's what editing is. Shows the full the full sparring session, or not the sparring session, but the full mid session. Stop saying he's 53. Age is just a number out here. It's different than when you're an athlete. Father Time is undefeated. It's completely different. When it's different in athletics. 53-year-old boxer who's taken damage, has hundreds of miles on those legs and hips from running road work all those years of training since he was a kid. It adds up. The knees aren't what they were. The hips aren't what they were. It plays a big difference. DJ 2020, what's up, bro? What's going on? Good to see you. Let's get De La Hoya versus Mayweather. McGregor. Now, that's a fight that I actually wouldn't mind seeing, honestly. De La Hoya is 46 right now. Conor's like 30-something. So Oscar hasn't had a fight in like 12 years. I think the last fight was in 2008. But I think that even at this point, given that Oscar's boxed his whole life, and it's funny when you look at Tyson, how long he hasn't boxed, and look how like a beast he freaking looked on the mitts. There's clips of Robert Garcia sparring. The guy still has it. Like those reflexes, that muscle memory is still there. Not the reflexes, but the muscle memory is still there. Like all these guys that were former pro boxers that look harmless now would beat the living crap out of you and I on the streets because they train their whole lives. They have some form of muscle memory left. Now, how this pertains to McGregor versus Oscar De La Hoya. To me, it's intriguing because you have a guy, the intriguing part is, well, how's Oscar going to look after 12 years out of the ring? I want to say he's going to look good compared to somebody like Conor, because Conor hasn't boxed his whole entire life, even though Conor was able to go 10 rounds with Floyd, which makes me think, okay, it's intriguing there. He can be competitive. He went 10 rounds with Floyd. He showed competency in that fight. Oscar De La Hoya has fought his whole entire life. Give him a few months, he'll get back into shape. It's not like he's going to forget how to box. He's been boxing his whole entire life. To me, I like it. I love it. Make the fight. July 4th. That'd be the perfect fight. Oscar McGregor, Ryan Garcia, Jorge Linares. Make it happen. I would love to see that fight. I know Ryan and you know what was weird, guys? Ryan Garcia getting into it with Henry Cejudo online. I like Henry and I like Ryan, but I think this quarantine got people going a little crazy on the tweets, man. A lot of people been calling people out on the tweets. You know, people want to get at it. Jermell Charlo versus Conor. Nah, come on, dude. Charlo, come on. Okay, Wickedy. Marcos, Abner Mars told Ryan Garcia, why are you challenging Henry Cejudo from UFC when you haven't even done shit in your own sport? That's what he said. That's what Abner said. What do you guys think about Henry Cejudo? You guys think he brought up a thing that I thought was interesting. So after his win against Dominic Cruz, sorry, I'm trying to read and think at the same time while you guys are answering these questions. So Henry, after his win with they are. This is what the corona's doing to people on quarantine. They get on Twitter and start going off. I was doing it, but about other stuff. So I had to get off the tweets. Henry Cejudo said that he's the greatest combat sport athlete of all time. And I thought long and hard about this. And I know a lot of people would mention other people, but Henry has an argument. Gold medal winner in Greco-Roman wrestling, champion at 125, champion at 135 in the UFC, and it's a hell of a lot harder to win multiple weight class division titles in that sport because how unpredictable and how many variables there is in a fight. He fought and lost to the greatest 125er in that sport's history, and then he won. He just beat probably the best, greatest 135 bantamweight fighter in history. So, you know, he has a legit argument. The thing against him is how long did he do it for? You know, that's always, I think, when gauging what fighters are better than other fighters from different eras, you got to gauge how long were they dominant for and in the fashion that they did it. Obviously, Cejudo's run wasn't as long as, say, Demetrius Johnson during his time. Cejudo's run wasn't as long as Fedor, Anderson Silva. So when you compare it to that, you know, it makes you think. But he does have an argument, a legit argument. El Nye, we can't see him though. That's the problem with him. We can't see him. Sensei Sama. Henry is a two-sport world champion, gold medal in freestyle wrestling, beat potential GOAT, and beat two of the bantamweight GOATs. Here's the thing, though. All right, so you compare Henry, all right, and you bring that up, two-sport world champion in wrestling and in MMA, even though MMA is kind of, it's a different sport, but it's crucial to being a mixed martial artist. You compare him to someone like an Oscar, gold medalist, the Olympic Games in Barcelona, won a world title in 6 divisions. You know, you compare someone to like a Sugar Ray Leonard, gold medalist, Montreal in the 76 games, and he wins world titles in 6 divisions over a long span of time. It's tough. It's really hard to do what Henry did, especially in MMA, because there's so many ways to win it, and it's the most unpredictable sport. That's why I don't bet on MMA, because it's just the guy who should win sometimes ends up not winning because of crazy stuff. So just to put that in perspective in terms of gauging Henry Cejudo's argument that he's the greatest combat sport athlete of all time, you always got to look at it, who they beat, what have those guys done after they got beat by that guy, the manner of that guy has won or knocked his opponents out, and the length of time they've done it. So with that being said, you could say, like, well, Fedor had a greater run. John Jones had a greater run. Anderson Silva had a greater run. So there we go. Sensei Sama, let's see what you got to say. GSP redeemed all his losses, but Cejudo hasn't. Only guy in the conversation with Cejudo is Kurt Angle, who won the gold medal at WWE. That's a fake title, bro. Come on. That don't count. That's a fake title. Stone Cold had a greater run. Yeah, that's true. Stone Cold almost, and it's funny, coincidentally, almost ended up fighting Mike Tyson with that thing, which is funny, with the whole real wrestling thing. Oscar had a gold medal in boxing, though. Wrestling has nothing to do with MMA. He had to learn the grappling and striking from the ground up. Oscar and Sugar Ray didn't have to do that. You need wrestling to be a successful MMA fighter. Wrestling is the core base of being a successful MMA fighter. You talk to any MMA fighter, and they'll tell you the most important thing for an MMA fighter to have as their core is wrestling. You got to be able to know how to take someone down and how to get back up. All the other stuff you could work around. But the most important thing still to this day is a good, strong wrestling core as your base. Kyle Price, what's up, man? Canelo by knockout, not a fan, but Charlo is too muscular now and not the same fighter as he was when he was 154. Well, you know, he had to move up in weight to 160. I still like the fight. I'll tell you why. It's a good style fight because Charlo's going to come forward. You know Charlo comes forward. You know Charlo's a pressure guy. He's going to throw some heavy-ass punches, and he's going to bring the pressure. Canelo does extremely well with guys who come forward. And I think with someone like Charlo, yeah, he'll be cautious about exchanging with Canelo. But is Charlo a bigger puncher than Golovkin? I don't know. You would think no, because Golovkin has a higher knockout percentage than Charlo at middleweight, even though Charlo hasn't had a lot of middleweight fights. But Canelo went toe-to-toe with Golovkin, took his best punches, didn't get knocked out. With that being said, I love the fight. Just the politics of boxing suck that we haven't seen that fight yet. You know, you have a guy that's with DAZN. Charlo's one of the A fighters for PBC. They're not going to let him go to DAZN. So, you know, who knows when we're going to see it, which sucks. But you can only hope. Charlos are good, but need bigger fights. Canelo's defense would make the difference. Yes, his reflexes. There's a very, very good point there. Man, this kid Canelo, he's gotten so much better over time, and he was always a defensive fighter. Look at his early fights. What's up, Kabir? We're talking about Canelo versus Charlo. Welcome to the chat. From his early fights, Canelo was always defensive, moving like this, pop, pop, you know, but he's gotten a lot better with his footwork. He's not as stiff, flat-footed wise as he was before. That, and I think he has better command of the ring now, and he's a lot smarter now. So Canelo versus Charlo, to me, the biggest difference is going to be, can Charlo land punches on Canelo, and what he's going to do about Canelo's body attack. Because, you know, if Charlo fights him on the inside, Canelo's going to gun for that body. And Canelo's like a murderous body puncher. Ah, DJ, man. When Canelo fought Floyd, he looked like a piece of cardboard. Hurricane Hank. That's my favorite name. Hurricane Hank. What's up, man? He learned a lot from that Mayweather loss. He did, man. He did. And, what were you going to do? You get presented a fight with Floyd Mayweather at 21 and get offered, like, I don't know how much he made, like $20, $40 million. Were you going to say no? No, of course you're going to take the fight. So he learned a lot. Who has Charlo fought that makes y'all think he's a beast? You could just tell, man. Same with Aaron Pryor. Who did Aaron Pryor fight? Who did he fight? Arguello. Arguello is the only big name on Aaron Pryor's resume. Why didn't Aaron Pryor have bigger names? No one wanted to fight him. Same thing with Charlo. No one wants to fight him. Same thing with Andrade. No one wants to fight him. It's not the fighter's fault. You could tell when a guy's good by what they do to their opponents. You could just tell there's something there that you could see, like, hey, this guy's really, really good. You can tell that with Charlo. He's good. He's elite for a reason. Let's see here. Okay, message retracted. Lomachenko versus Pacquiao at a catchweight. Whew. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Lomachenko, what do you guys think about Lomachenko versus Pacquiao? Who do you guys got right now in that fight? Actually, they're both around the same size. I think if they do it at 140, that'd be great. I don't know why. I think there was talk about that fight 2 years ago where Bob was mentioning in interviews that he'd like to see Lomachenko fight Manny. The more weights Lomachenko's gotten up in, he's naturally a smaller guy, the more human he's looked, and these guys are able to take Lomachenko's punches better. He's not making people quit anymore. He's not knocking them out like nothing anymore. And I don't think it's because he's getting old. I think it's because the opponents are getting bigger and they're able to take these punches a lot better than the other fighters. Now, with that being said, you got Southpaw versus Southpaw. That's going to be a tricky thing for Manny. Manny hasn't fought a lot of Southpaws in his career. I don't even know when's the last Southpaw that Manny's fought, to be honest. That's going to be a tricky thing. Loma's footwork, would it give Manny's footwork problems? Who has the better footwork there? You would think that Lomachenko might be more polished in the skills department, but Manny's more explosive. Manny throws more punches and combinations. Manny would be in and out. Manny would be the one trying to put Lomachenko on his back foot. Now, is that going to serve Lomachenko good in the fight, or would Lomachenko want to be the counterpuncher in the fight? Or would Lomachenko want to be the one to pressure Manny and put Manny on his back foot? I like it because the guys are both the same size. Now, the key, I guess, is going to be the speed of Manny. That's really going to be the key in that fight. So I would say this. They're talking about Manny versus Crawford. I like the fight, but honestly, I think Crawford's a little too good right now, a little too big for Manny. Make Manny versus Lomachenko at 140 pounds. That, to me, is the fight. That gets me hyped. Manny versus Lomachenko, 140 pounds. You have Lomachenko and Crawford back and forth, tug of war, being pound for pound number one. So I would say us as fans should demand that fight and see if we can make it happen. It's funny. A few years ago, I interviewed Bob Arum about making a Manny versus Thurman fight. This is about 3 years ago. And he scolded me. He yelled at me, man. Bob Arum went in on me about that fight. He didn't like the fight. He said that the fight would never happen because of Al Heyman, that I should stop pushing for it, that I'm just playing into the little game. But even back then, I thought, hey, Manny versus Thurman would be a great fight. They're both Manny, of course, big name. Thurman needs a big name like that. Let's go ahead and make it happen. And it happened. So Pacquiao, Lomachenko, 2020. Let's go. Let's make it happen. Shine and chill. Where you at? You on the East Coast or where do you live? Zobra said David Diaz is the last southpaw that Manny Pacquiao fought. Pacquiao versus Spence. Errol got exposed a little bit against Porter. My audio is cutting. Let me see if I can fix it. All right. How's the audio now? It could be due to my internet or my camera equipment. Hold on. Let me see. How's the audio now, guys? Let me know. Is it cutting out or is it good now? Let's see here. Static? Dang, where's that coming from? I wonder if it's from my camera equipment. Hold on, you guys. Let me see if I could fix it up a bit. Any better? Is it good? It crackles. Why is it crackling? It's okay now. Cable. Good. Cable is static. Static. Some static. Shit. All right. Hold on. Might be a wire. Let's see here. Still crackles. Snap, crackle, pop. This thing's like a box of Rice Krispies. Hold on 1 second. Happens right when you talk. Crackling. Static. Audio's good now. Okay. Is audio good now? Let me know. Audio, check. Let's see, you guys. Let me know. I need your guys' feedback here so I can keep toggling with the wires. Okay. It seems to be that the audio is working again. It's good. All right. No. God damn it. So this has been happening to me sometimes. I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or if it's my camera thing because I've done not crazy. No, it's crackling. Crack. The crack is decreased, but it's still there. I think it's a wire then on this thing here. Shit. I don't want to disconnect the adapter here because if I do, I'll lose the camera. Okay, well, I guess say no to crack. Yeah, crack kills. Hugs, not drugs. Guys, crackling again. It's good. No, it's not cheap audio equipment. This is like a $200 camera. So I think maybe it's probably the adapter. Okay, let me see. Do you have audio boost on? No, this is a normal thing from YouTube. I'm on YouTube software, so yeah, I don't know what's going on because I had this issue in an interview that I did, and I didn't have it last week, but okay. All right, well, thank you guys for bearing with me right now with that little crack. I'm gotta get to the bottom of it. I'm probably gonna end up buying a mic. And yeah, headphone, not a headphone mic, but I think I'm gonna get like a podcaster mic to go ahead and be able to talk to you guys a little bit better, so it doesn't crack on you guys. So, all right, start firing off, guys. Firing off with the questions. Let's go. Let's continue on with the boxing chat. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at FightUpTV. I gave one of our guys a free shirt for listening to all the live chats. So, okay, put the mic. Any boxing babes update. Okay, so I'm going to talk from here. Let me know if it makes a difference. Like I mentioned, gave away a shirt last week. I'll do a shirt giveaway. Oh, man, I'm gasping for air. I'll give a shirt giveaway next week for the next one. So I need you guys to share the chat, get more people to be in the chat, discuss life, anything. We discuss everything in here. So let me know. Disappear. No difference. Good try, though. Damn it. I think it's the internet, but let's see. Triple G versus Charlo. That's a tough one. I know he's fighting Casemiro. They're still trying to make that fight happen. I talked to Casemiro's manager. They're trying to find a way to get Inoue over here to the United States. Casemiro's still training in Vegas. I just spoke to his manager 3 days ago, and he told me that they're hoping that the fight could still happen. They're trying to figure out a way to get Inoue over here to Las Vegas. Okay. You got Triple G beating Charlo. It's hard to gauge because, all right, the last two opponents of Golovkin was Steve Rolls and Sergey Derevyanchenko. He didn't look good against Derevyanchenko. But here's the thing with Derevyanchenko. In his fights that he's had with Golovkin and with Daniel Jacobs, those two guys did not look good, and they were close fights. And with those two fights, you can make an argument that Derevyanchenko won those fights. So Derevyanchenko doesn't make anybody look good. So it's hard to kind of gauge where Golovkin is at this point, if he's past his prime, if he's showing his age or not, because after Derevyanchenko, I mean before Derevyanchenko, Steve Rolls. Steve Rolls isn't a top 10 guy. He was just put in there. It's hard to gauge, where he is. Like, if Golovkin is indeed and is still good, still at his physical prowess and hasn't deteriorated, him against Charlo, it's a tough fight, a dangerous fight, but I could see Golovkin edging it out. I could see it being style-wise maybe similar to the David Lemieux fight, where Gennadi's going to choose to box and pick his punches because he knows he has a big puncher in Charlo in there. Charlo's a better boxer than Lemieux, but style-wise, it could be a little bit similar because Lemieux was a murderous puncher and Gennady didn't want to get tagged by any one of Lemieux's punches, and he played it safe and he boxed beautifully that night. So that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Charlo beats Golovkin? Write down in the comments right now. While I scroll up and read the next question we're going to read. Scroll up. Does in your opinion, does Golovkin beat Charlo, or does Charlo beat Golovkin? Let me know. I'm going to pick a question. Okay. I got the next question. I'm going to wait. The next two questions, it deals with the same person, but I'm going to read your guys' responses. DJ 2020 thinks it's an even fight. Kabir doesn't know who wins that fight. Hurricane Hank. I love that name, bro. Bekzan Makhmutov. Did I say that right, bro? Let me know if I said that right. Charlo cannot point him. So it's split between Golovkin and split between Charlo. GG beats Charlo. Lomachenko versus Derevyanchenko. That would never happen. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Makhmutov. All right. So the next, it seems to be slight advantage to Golovkin, which if you were to put that fight on the sheets, on the betting odds, Golovkin would be the favorite in that fight, but I think he wouldn't be a big favorite. He might be like a plus one something favorite. Excuse me. Charlo would be like a plus one something underdog in that fight. Kyle Price, he's 38, but I just don't think Charlo is that good, even with an older Triple G. Do you think 130 needs a Super 6 tournament to stop the ducking? Yeah, I'd like to see it, but because of the networks and all that, I don't think we'll get to see those guys at 130 go ahead and hash it out, because one guy's with this guy, the other guy's with this guy, the other guy, it's just very complicated. So we had a question about Inoue. I'll read it up. I saw it up here. Who should Inoue fight next? Asked Sensei Sama. So, like I mentioned, Inoue was scheduled to fight Casemiro in April, but with the whole coronavirus thing happening, they put the fight on hold. I believe that Inoue was in Vegas, and then he flew back to Japan. Now, I haven't checked Inoue's Instagram. He rarely puts on, I'm checking right now actually, he rarely puts on training footage. I don't know if Inoue's been training, but that's the next natural fight for him. So this is what's probably going to happen, okay? This is with a lot of your favorite fighters. Obviously, boxing is a worldwide sport. You got fighters like Lomachenko, Usyk live in Ukraine. Inoue lives in Japan. Linares in Japan. You got guys all over the place. It's a worldwide sport. There's a lot of travel restrictions right now. So a lot of guys that were scheduled to fight your favorite fighters or other fighters aren't going to get a chance to fight those guys because of the travel restrictions. So we're going to see, and I wouldn't be surprised, a lot of just stay busy active fights with opponents that we don't know much about, or opponents that, quite frankly, wouldn't normally get a chance to fight these guys if this stuff wasn't happening. But special circumstances right now with what's going on. So it's like, well, what do you do? Either have your athlete sit on the sideline or have them active. And I would think the athlete would rather be active than not fight and have to wait another year until all this other stuff dies down. So that being said, in no way more than likely, two things are going to happen. Either they get him out of Japan, and I know they're working on that, or they find him a stay busy fight in Japan with all that going on. So remains to be seen. To me, Inoue is one of the most exciting fighters in all of boxing. And all of boxing, pound for pound, one of the biggest punchers in all of boxing, right up there, maybe under Wilder, but pound for pound, one of the biggest punchers in boxing. Hurricane Hank, upsets in the air. I've talked to a lot of fighters about that, and they agree with me as well. We're going to see a lot of upsets because people aren't training or aren't training as hard, or they don't have a date. And those guys, those fighters that aren't dedicated, they don't keep grinding, they don't keep training, they're going to be in for a rude awakening once they get a fight date, because these fight dates are going to come and they need to jump on them. And they're only going to have a certain amount of time to get ready and be prepared. And if they're not putting in the work now, they're going to be scrambling to go and make weight. And I would not be surprised if we saw a lot of upsets coming up because of everything what's happening. So we'll see what happens. Javier, yeah, man, it's true, dude. It's true. The whole world's not really doing anything. So, and then here's the other thing. These guys, where are they getting sparring at? It's really hard to get sparring partners. It's like sparring's not easily accessible. Gyms aren't easily accessible, but if you're a pro, more than likely you either have a gym in your garage or you have access to your own gym that they only open up for you, so you're able to kind of control who goes in and out. But my biggest concern would be the sparring. If you have to fly certain people over from other states to go and get adequate sparring to prepare for a fight. So, we'll see what happens with that. Disappear. I don't know a lot about boxing. It's all good, bro. We're here to teach you, to inform you about boxing. Don't ever feel like that's a downside to this. I think we as boxing fans gotta educate casual fans and fans that don't know too much about the sport, so they become fans, really like fans of boxing like we are. I don't know a lot about boxing. Please bear my question. Why did Jesse Vargas do so well against Timothy Bradley? Jesse Vargas isn't a pushover, man. That's the thing. You saw that fight with Mikey. He was winning that fight up until Mikey started landing those big punches, which was around the middle rounds. He was giving Mikey a really, really tough fight. Now, I think overall in that fight with the Bradley fight, someone want to pull up the scorecards? I remember thinking Jesse almost had Bradley out, obviously, in the 12th round, but I think overall Bradley was like in command of the fight. I think he was well ahead on scorecards. I'm not sure, though. I got to check the scorecards. But with that being said, Jesse Vargas isn't a pushover. He's a top contender. He's been in there with Broner, been in there with Manny, did really, really well against Manny. 117, 111 for Bradley. Yeah, that means Tim won just about, I want to say like 10 rounds almost, 9 rounds, 9-3. So that's a pretty dominant thing there. But, Jesse's proved time and time again that he's a top world-class fighter, given, the fights that he's had with the people that he's fought. And he's fought a lot of people. So that fight, I remember being there at that fight. It was really weird because Bradley usually had an iron chin and was able to take punches really, really well. But I don't think Bradley, I don't know, you can make an argument that it's the lingering effects of the Provodnikov fight, that maybe he wasn't able to take punches as well as when he used to. After the Provodnikov fight, Vargas hurt him. Manny knocked him down like 3 times in that third fight. So these fights take a lot of out of people. I was there live when he fought Provodnikov, man, and I'll never forget it because Bradley came out of the locker room. His teeth were shattering like this. He was shaking. And I remember looking at him and I was like, oh my God, dude. Provodnikov fucked Tim up, man. He's bad. And I remember all the press people were like, Tim's not doing any interviews. He's not doing anything. And then they put him on a gurney. And I remember we filmed him getting on the gurney and then put on the ambulance. And I kept thinking, like, man, it's so true when boxers say a piece of them gets left in the ring, or that every time a fight, a little piece of them, they lose a little piece of them. That's so true. And that fight made me see how much truth there was to that statement. You know, Bradley left in the ambulance, and later I come to find out that he went to a concussion doctor to get brain exercises, that he had headaches from the concussions, that he started forgetting stuff. I'll share a story too with that. So Tim started camp again after that fight. I think after that fight, he went on to fight Juan Manuel Marquez. And I remember Joel Diaz told me that Tim Bradley was very close to retiring before that fight because they weren't sure about how he would react because he wasn't reacting well. I remember he told me a story that he's very, very close to saying that he was going to retire because of that. So we got a weird some of these comments are weird. Okay, back to what I was saying about Tim Bradley in the hospital. That happens. Try to find Ruslan Provodnikov, and man, wish I could find the picture of it, because when I saw Ruslan Provodnikov after the fight in the lobby of the StubHub Center, he looked like an alien. His eyes were all puffy as hell. He was wearing a beanie. You could not tell what he looked like. He looked like one of those old-time fighters from the 50s. Like, honestly, he looked like he got jumped. Like, you cannot tell that I was Ruslan. Like, I was just like, Jesus Christ. This sport is so brutal and takes so much away from you people. If you guys have a chance after this, type up Ruslan Provodnikov after Bradley fight, and you'll see the photo that I'm talking about after the fight. And I also posted one on our Instagram as well. So, looked like Andre Berto after the Guerrero fight. He did. I was there at that fight when Guerrero beat Berto pretty convincingly, man. Yeah. That's it just shows you, dude, you can't play boxing, man. It's that saying is true, and that saying where a boxer says that every time they step into the ring, you never know. It's true, man. Getting hit in the head is not normal. You're not supposed to get hit in the head, dude. Like, you see how thin our bones are here. We're not meant to get hit in the head repeatedly. So, that was my little Tim Bradley story. I'll never forget that fight, man. I was just in awe in that fight. So, yes, respect box. Respect box. Like Gennady Golovkin. Respect the box. Boxing is a thinking man's sport. It is. Skills win it. What's TBI mean? Donatella. I don't know what that means. I like your name, by the way. That's an awesome name. Steve Saldivar. Who's the bigger star, Conor McGregor or Canelo? Conor, bro, bar none. Conor's the biggest name in combat sports right now. If Canelo wouldn't have, if Canelo spoke English, he would be a lot bigger star. Let me see here. Gotta mute some people here coming in with their nonsense. There we go. Algieri versus Provodnikov. Yeah, dude. You remember Algieri's eyes? Oh, Jesus. That's why Like I don't think I could ever have my kids be professional boxers, because seeing that shit firsthand and then talking to these guys after their fights, all bruised up like that, nah. There's other ways to make a living. Like, these guys are really are special individuals, and a lot of them are fighting out of necessity because they don't have any other way out. But the worst beating I've seen in boxing, the Bradley one. Bradley won. Provodnikov, the Berto Guerrero, but I think the Bradley Provodnikov was worse. Man, Margarito and Pacquiao, but I think honestly the worst I've ever seen somebody in there in terms of taking punishment as much as they did was that Bradley Provodnikov fight. That was disturbing to watch, to be honest. I thought they were going to stop the fight. I was calling for them to stop the fight. There's a lot of us on press row that were calling to have the fight stop because it looked like Tim was out. He was all over the place. His balance was all off. He looked like a deer that's just barely learning how to walk. That got a lot of us worried. You know, usually when you have a guy who balance is all off, they're all discombobulated, that they're gone. You know, so yeah, that was bad. Not as bad as the Molina one, man. I think the Molina takes a beating and gives a beating. That's true, but I think I have different perspective because I saw Bradley in the locker room after, and how he was, and how he came out. I'll never forget it, man. I'll never forget it because I've never seen a boxer ever. I've been to hundreds and hundreds of fights. I've never seen a boxer ever come out the way that Bradley came out of the locker room, ever. It was disturbing, man. And I'm glad that he's okay now and that he has all his faculties in place, because Tim's a good guy. He's a funny dude. And I always enjoyed covering him and watching his fights. What was the small guy's name that Arturo Gardi? I can't talk. Arturo Gatti nearly killed. That was horrifying to watch. I don't know. It's not coming to my mind. Laura versus Angulo. The eye was messed up, but when I'm talking about a beating, I'm talking about 12 rounds, sustained pummeling. The guy just getting it, bop, 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 bop. Not just in 1 or 2 rounds. Over the course of 12 rounds, just going to war. And the only ones that come to mind for me that I've seen live were those two, the Bradley Provodnikov and Robert Guerrero versus Andre Berto. Gotti Ward, I wasn't there for Gotti Ward, though. You know? Provodnikov, Maidana, oh my God. That would have been a bloodbath. Jeez. That would have been knockout all over. Same thing, Provodnikov versus Soto Caras. Imagine that, a Provodnikov versus Soto Caras fight. Oh my God. It's funny. I'm actually friends with Soto Caras. He's retired. He's a funny guy. He cracks me up. Margarito Cotto, I guess. Cotto got a beating in that fight, but, you know, the gloves, you know. Canelo versus Angulo was a beating. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I was there live also. But I'm telling you, all those are beatings, but not in comparison to those 2 fights that I mentioned, the Provodnikov Bradley and Berto against Robert Guerrero. Like, those were really bad, man. Like, really, really bad. Seeing those guys after the fights, it's a very, very disturbing thing to see. Provodnikov Matisse was a beating. Yeah, that's true. So, an interesting question over here. Chocolatito versus Gallo Estrada. GGG versus Kell Brook was a beating. Yeah, broke his face. Chocolatito versus Gallo Estrada. Chris Smith. You're a funny guy, Chris. You're a funny guy. General question for you guys on this chat right now. Do you guys like the lower weight classes? Like, are the lower weight classes something that you'll go and see their fights, or is it only certain lower weight class fighters? Because I'm trying to figure this out, if it's just a boxing thing or if it's a combat sports thing, because On the combat sports side, they don't really watch the little guys either at 125. 135, a little bit more. But let me see. Okay, I'm getting your guys' answers here. Needs better promotion. John Charles says yes. Saldivar, Steve, yes, I loved him. Bad promoting, depends. And always extremely appealing. Certain lower weight class fighters. Only certain fighters 147 and up is preferred. Okay, Kyle, why is that? I'm curious. Why only 147 and up preferred? Why not the lower weight class guys? So I'll wait on your answer because it is a very interesting point. I like watching the little guys, but sometimes it could be a little monotonous because they're throwing so many punches, and the punches aren't really having an effect because they're smaller guys. So they never do huge promotions for the low weight classes. That's true. That's when fighters start to get bigger. That's true. Only certain fighters need big names. All valid points, guys. All valid points. Yeah, there hasn't been a superstar guy at 22 pounds, 118. You bring an excellent point there. The last guy that was exciting, it's off the top of my head, a few guys, Manny, Nassim Hamed, Barrera, Morales. Those are all guys that came from little or lower weight classes. Just lately seems like there isn't much action, or it's one-sided, and Haiti and Loma won't fight each other. Chocolatito, Estrada, Martinez, Tanaka, Ioka, Sorongvasai, Shiro. It's true. That's true. Not as much power, Marcos. In MMA, I love the lower weight classes, but hate heavyweight. In boxing, I prefer the higher weight classes. Yeah, that's what I thought also is the power thing. Because they're throwing so many punches, but because they're lighter weight classes, it doesn't have the same effect. But maybe we need a guy who is a big puncher at the lower weight classes to get a little bit of excitement going for the lower weight classes, for people to be interested in them, because the little guys are exciting, man. That last fight that Roman Gonzalez had in Texas, tremendous fight, man. Great fight, I think, against Cal Yafai. That was a badass fight. So if we get more fighters that are like that at the lower weight classes, I think more fans and more of us will be wanting to see those lower weight class fighters. I got into watching lighter weight boxing because I stumbled across the Manny Margarito fight. I checked out. Yeah, those are 147. They're not that much lower weight class compared to everybody else, to be honest. Jacob Martins has the question of the night. The most important question anybody's asked me the whole entire night. Jacob Martins wants to know, can I walk on my hands? No, I can't. Tonito Games, what's up, bro? Do you watch female boxing? Yeah, I do. When Clarissa's on, I'll watch. When Michaela fights, I'll watch. Sanisa, I'll watch. So yeah, I'll watch women's boxing. Same with women's MMA. I'll watch the women fight. I think the women in MMA get a lot more down than the girls in boxing, but I think it's because they have more time to work, and you give a fighter more time to do their work inside the ring. You get more knockouts, smaller gloves as well. So, it leads to more exciting fights in MMA. The 54-0 Thai guy needs more promotion. That guy doesn't fight a lot of guys, though, man. He doesn't fight a lot of name brand fighters. He needs to start moving up. Moonsuri. Is that how am I pronouncing it correct? Moonsrai? I'm not sure. John Charles, can Marcos Maidana have a decent comeback? Yeah, he's young. He hasn't been out of the game too long, even though it's still pretty long. As long as he trains correctly, doesn't balloon up in weight, yeah, I think he can, unless he's completely shot. But, the last fight that Maidana had was the Mayweather fight, I believe, So it remains to be seen. He's still pretty young, though. He's not that old. So I would love to see Marcos Maidana back. There's a lot of guys that Maidana can make tremendous, great fights with in boxing. KOCP Freshmart need to be a household name. I don't know who that is. CP Freshmart? What are you talking about, bro? Who's CP Freshmart? Wenhang Mayothin. That's the new GOAT. He's 54-0. Broke Floyd's record. Little Thai guy from Thailand. He has the best record in boxing right now, 54-0. 105 champ. Okay. See, I didn't even know who the heck the 105 champ was. I don't really watch a lot of the 105 guys. I'll watch the 112 guys, but not the 105 guys. What do I think about the back and forth between Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali? It's good back and forth. It's good banter. You know what it's doing? It's hyping up the fight. If they do fight, there's going to be so much hype on it because they're doing a great job. They're selling the fight. That's what they're supposed to do, is sell the drama, sell the fight so people can invest in it, invest in the storyline, invest in the back and forth. If those two fight, it'll do extremely, extremely well, and it'll get a decent amount of pay-per-view buys. I'm into it. I want to see what's left of Layla. That's what I want to know. I want to know at Layla at her age, can she come back and beat someone who's a double gold medal winner and has just been outclassing everybody that she's been in the ring with. Super interesting. You got the best of one generation going up against the current best of this generation right here. She is old. She looks freaking great, though. She looks amazing for her age. Tell you something, man. Layla Ali's freaking hot. She's hot. So is Rashida Ali. Rashida Ali is smoking hot. She's a little older, but oh my God. If you see her, Jesus. Double take for sure. You're going to be like, oh my God, you are one beautiful, lovely lady. And yeah, look her up. Rashida Ali. Mwah, gorgeous. She's been out so long, though, man. Ali is nuts. Yeah, that's true. But so was George Foreman. Look what happened there. You know? And Layla, legit, is a super athlete. And let's see what happens. Let's see what that's what makes it interesting for me, at least. And I think for other people is how much does that time away really affect them? And imagine they're able to spend all that time away and they come back and they imagine Layla, all that time away, comes back and beats Clarissa Shields. You know how nuts that would be? Someone at not only her age, but not being active for as long as she had been, to come back and beat the current best in women's boxing. That'd be amazing. That's an amazing thing. So I'm down for it. How many of Ali's daughters were fighters? I think it was just Layla. Kyle Price, you know what I'm talking about, bro. You know what I'm talking about, dog. She's smoking hot. Smoking hot. All right, you guys. It's been an hour in. We usually do these for an hour. Do me a big favor, guys. Next week, I'm going to give away a shirt. 2 shirts, okay? So in order to win the shirts, you got to do what they did a few weeks ago is next week, you have to like and comment on this video after it's done and leave your social media handle, and then follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at FightUpTV. Give me a follow as well at Hey It's Marcos V. Jonathan Diego, you know what's up? Rashida, she's smoking hot. So we're gonna go ahead and end this edition of the FightUpTV live chat. Dude, the vlogs, I want to do vlogs, bro. Like, there's a lot of shit that I could do. Like, I have a vlog that I got to put together for my time in Panama with Duran, which is an awesome vlog. Thing is, it takes so much damn time to put everything together and construct a story in a vlog. But now I have all the damn time in the world, so maybe I'll be able to go ahead and do it. But next week, guys, tell all your boxing friends and fans to tune in with us next week at 8:30, same time, same channel, FightUpTV live chat. Make sure to follow us online at FightUpTV. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay healthy. Be positive. Be productive. If you guys are feeling down, depressed, this is the perfect remedy for you guys. And I'm speaking from experience. Every time I feel down, every time I feel not productive, I go outside and take a walk. Granted, I know might be some people that are watching this and they can't walk around. You got to do some sort of exercise. You got to keep your mind busy, so you're not having bad thoughts and negative thoughts. That's what you got to do. You got to keep the mind occupied and busy. That's what's going to get you through this, is that positive thinking. We're all going to come out this better. We're all going to come out of this going back, hopefully, to our normal lives. So we got to stay positive and take care of each other and look out for not only our family members, but our friends and neighbors as well. All right, you guys. Rocky beats Apollo. You get this shirt on Contenders. I think that's the name of the company. So, all right, guys. Peace out. Much love to all y'all. And I'll see you guys next Monday coming up at 8:30. Make sure to tell people to come by and join the chat. All right. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Have a good night.